Welcome back to Witch Week. To end Witch Week, I thought we would do something really cute and little um, with just a little mini note card. It's an easy drawing, so you can practice your drawing skills. And we're just going to make a little pumpkin in a witch's hat. So to draw a pumpkin, I'm going to put a little line at the bottom, just so I kind of have an idea where my pumpkin is sitting. And I'm going to draw a fat oval, and that's the center of my pumpkin. If it goes under your line, it's okay. It's your drawing. Nobody cares. And then I'm just going to do lines along the side of it. Make it like a little bit smaller. And then we're going to do it on the other side. Okay, our pumpkin's done. Like I said, it's going to be pretty simple. So the next part is we need to draw our witch's hat, which really is just going to be a swoopy shape down over the top. I'm making it a little big. We'll erase this part of the pumpkin because it's covered by the hat. Curve it around the sides for the brim. Then I'm going to put the band right around here. Have it go up. So we're going to combine these lines over like this. And you have the beginnings of your witch's hat. So I want this to curve a little. I didn't like how straight that was, so we're just curving it. It's not a big deal. That's why we're doing it in pencil. So you can do that. Now we just need to do the top of the witch's hat, which I'm going to have it curve over. And then this side will pull up and curve down and make it out to a point. So there we go. We have our basic outline. Now you can put a face on it, and I think I'm going to. I want this to be kind of like a chibi or a kawaii kind of thing. So I'm just going to give it little like upside down curves for a little face. And then we'll give it like an open. And I don't want it in a circle because I just don't think that is going to look the way that I want it. So we'll just give it a little like that. However, you can do this any way you want. You can do the traditional jack-o'-lantern. You can do anything else. I like the chibi style, so that's what I'm going to do. And then we'll add some little like fall detritus underneath it, but it's witch week, so we're making a little witchy pumpkin. It's silly, it's cute, it's quick, it's a fun little project, and it's a good way to maybe use up some paints or just have fun and play with what your paints can do for you. So I have Dr. P.H. Martin's in orange. Please excuse my palette. It's still dirty from the last painting I did, the witch painting. No. Go even further back. I don't even remember what painting this is from, but my palette is dirty. Sometimes I keep it so I can reuse the colors. There's some Payne's Gray on here. I will probably use that as a shadow color. So we like to keep that around. I've got some Dr. P.H. Martin's in black. I'm going to put that right here. And I'm just using a little bit because this is just a little painting. There's not a whole lot to it, so we're not going to go too crazy. I think I'm going to set aside some saddle brown in case I want to use it. And I have some grass green. I'm trying to decide whether I want to put the band of his hat and make it uh, green or make it orange. So you can always just change your mind while you're painting things. So it's no worries. You can always just back it up if you want. So let's start with the pumpkin. He's pretty simple. So I'm just going to get some of the orange. And this is straight orange. Sometimes I use amber yellow because it's a really nice orange that has a lot of yellow undertones. But in this situation, I am just going to use straight orange. I'm going to go down this side and then this side of my little pumpkin shape. Rinse my brush, tap it on my paper towel, and then I'm just going to start pulling that color. And there's the center of your pumpkin. Like I said, this is not a super hard painting. It's not difficult. It should be just something fun and relaxing. If you want to know, I'm using a size 6 round brush. So now these are a little darker, so I'm going to just fill in the whole section. I'm skipping this middle section because it's probably still wet and I don't want the colors to run. Okay. So do both sides. And once again, I don't know why I write from left to right, but I always paint from right to left. I So if you're left-handed, I'm a great person to follow because I don't. Um, I just paint weird. Anyway, now here's our little stripy pumpkin. Ooh, so cute. And you can add more. It can be like a really squat, fat pumpkin. It can be a taller pumpkin. You can really do whatever you want with this. It's your project. It's your painting. So I'd say have fun with it. So now we're going to do the hat. I'm going to let this part dry before I come in there. And we'll come back in and add in some shading and some details. But for right now, we're just going to move on. So I'm just getting some black. And I'm going to start on this side. And just outline that top part. And pull it down. I'm going to get my brush wet. Tap off the extra water. And I'm going to pull this color. Now I'm leaving the band because we haven't decided what color we want the band to be yet. So I don't want it to be so dark that I can't paint over it. And by pulling the color, I have the shading of the hat. And if you don't follow your original outline, it's totally fine. It's perfectly okay. Okay, so when we do this part, we want this to be the darker part, and then the brim will be dark, but it's not going to be as dark as our shadows underneath. So leave like a little line between it and your pumpkin so that the color doesn't bleed. And do the little section underneath your brim. And you can turn. We didn't tape this one down, so turn as much as you want. Just remember to leave that little line. Always go back in and touch it up. But if you touch that right now, it might bleed, and we don't want to ruin our cute little pumpkin on the bottom. Okay? All right, so I'm still using black. And now I'm going to start right here at the brim, doing a nice little curved line, pulling it down a little bit with the darker, and then I'm going to rinse the brush. And then I'm going to try to pull all this out using the shape of the hat. So I'm going to keep my brush strokes going in the shape of the hat. I'm kind of giving it like a feathery ombre look. So I'm hitting the water, more water on the brush, tapping it on my paper towel again, and then continuing to pull this out, leaving a little bit of a line so we don't get into that part. And if you do, it's not that big of a deal. Don't stress out. Always fix it with a pen or bleed-proof white or a paper towel. It's just a little, this is just supposed to be like a relaxing, it can go in a sketchbook. It does not have to be anything perfect. It's just something to play with a couple of colors and see what happens. All right. He's moving along really nicely. Let's come back in here. I'm going to actually switch to a 2 just so I have a little bit smaller brush. So I just have a little bit more control to try to make sure I keep it outside of those lines. Getting straight orange on the brush. I'm not diluting it in any way. And I'm taking that right in. We're pretty dry down here, so it's okay. All right, I'm turning it over just because for me that's easier. If it doesn't work well for you that way, don't worry about it. Don't do it. We're having a little bit of a bleed action over here. It's okay. Just adds a little fun. Okay, so there he's pretty done. Um, let's add in some shadows to kind of define the edges of our pumpkin. And for that, I am going to use the saddle brown. Let's put it right here. I'm going to rinse my brush. And I'm still using the little brush for right now. I get a little bit of that saddle brown. I'm going to water it down. I don't want too harsh of a color. And now I'm going to put shadows down at the bottom of our little pumpkin guy. Just a little bit of shadow action using the nice watered down brown. So that shadows him up at the bottom. Then we'll just hit these lines. And if you don't want an orange pumpkin, I don't care. Do whatever color pumpkin you want. But this just a little bit is going to give him just a little bit more dimension and make him look a little bit more 3D. Ta-da! See, that was super simple. And it just, a nice little touch, a nice little effect. We're going to keep, we're going to stay away from that area for a minute or two. Again, I don't want to overpower it. So let's take some really, really, really watered down black. Like really watered down. And we're going to put just a little bit of a shadow under our pumpkin because he's just kind of floating. So he just has a little bit of a shadow. It looks really dark, but it's going to fade lighter. And I'm keeping it away from the edge just a little because it's still a little wet. Oops, I touched it. He's got a little bit of an orange shadow. It's okay. Um, Switch to a larger brush, or you can keep using the smaller brush, but I just want to fade this out. So I'm getting a larger brush to just kind of pull this color. And the orange is pulling through. It's okay. It almost looks like fall and leaves, so I'm not going to worry about it. We might even, when that all dries, put a little bit of like leaves or spatter or something right in there to make it pop a little. So now we have to make some decisions. Do we want the band of his hat to be orange? And I'm going to go with, yeah, let's go ahead and make that band of his hat orange so we're not adding or introducing more colors into this. Will help keep it a little cohesive. There's too much liquid on that brush. Sometimes that happens. I always get like a water bubble right here, and that rolls down my paintbrush. Causes me chaos. Just going to push this across. Okay. We're going to need to come in and hit it with a little bit more orange on this side to let it bleed across. Give it that roundy shape. Clean up that edge. And by doing that, I pulled it the wrong way. So let's push it back. I am so sorry. Okay, so this part's dry. So let's clean up the edge of our hat here, darken under here, and then we're going to wait before we put the shadow of the hat. So I'm sticking with the my smaller brush. It's what I have. It's cut everything sticking everywhere. A little bit annoying. And let's re-darken this section. And we can take it all the way to the pumpkin this time. There we go. And as you can see, as they dry, they lighten up. So don't worry if it doesn't look dark enough. You can always go back in and add another layer of paint. And see, it had bled there, but now since we're darkening this back up, we can kind of fix that section, and so it doesn't matter. All right, I'm going to want to fix the top part of this hat here, but I don't think I'm going to want to use paint because I don't want to lose some of my lines. So we're probably going to just use a black pen. All right, let's put a face on this little guy. I use the very strategic method of checking with my finger. And just do these little half moon eyes. And I've decided he needs a little eyeball right there. Ha ha! That's the best part. You can just change your mind while you're doing it. And if it was carved in my house, it's absolutely not going to match. There we go. He's got the two little eyes. Let's give him a little black mouth. And you can also do this with a pen if you're afraid of messing up with the paintbrush and you're more comfortable with a pen. No one is going to judge you for using a pen in your watercolors, least of all me. So black gel pen. there's all sorts of other kind of pens. This is what I have. I'm a big fan of using what you have. So I'm just going to really draw in this line. Ta-da! It wasn't too much. We're losing some definition because he was probably a little wet. So let's fix up around these little eyes. It's okay. He's still really cute. It also could be fun to just put some water on and see what kind of face you get. You could end up with like a Rorschach pumpkin or some sort of crazy pumpkin. Okay, so the last thing that he's going to need is a shadow, and I don't think he's dry enough yet. And because I made the eyes bigger, I think I'm going to put little highlights in the eyes. I know it's a pumpkin. He probably wouldn't have a highlight. I don't care. I just, for me, the cuteness factor requires a cute eyeball. So yes, I often check my gel pen on my finger to make sure it's still working. And there we go. That's just super cute. Okay, so we're going to do the very technical method of checking to see if it is dry. We did our shadows down here, so we're going to use the same color for the shadows, just a lighter brown. And if you've used the saddle brown before, you know it has a little bit of green in it. Okay. And the hat's pretty symmetrical, so the shadow is going to be fairly symmetrical. So we're just going to put a shadow right in here. Maybe swoop it down a little in the front, have it higher on the sides. Oh, that's super cute. That really added so much. That's really cute. So now all you got to do is some details. So I think let's darken up the shadows on the bottom of our pumpkin. And on his rhymes, I don't know what those are called. I really should research this stuff before I start painting. And I didn't fade out that shadow because I really want it to be like it's the hat. Okay, and we've lost a bit here. It's kind of just like an orangey, yellowy, blobby thing, which isn't terrible. But let's see if we can just add another layer of shadow underneath it. Be careful because you did just paint in some brown, and so that's probably going to want to have a little fun playing around here. We're just going to tap that in. I'm avoiding the edge. I'm going to take it all the way across. Okay, and now I'm taking the bigger brush, I'm tapping it on the paper towel to get rid of the excess water, and I'm just going to fuzz out the edges here. And just playing with it a little bit to get it to the way I want it. Okay, so I kind of like this little area at the bottom that looks a little orange. I'm happy with most of it. I don't think the eyes are bright enough. I don't think the pen was what was the right way to go. we're gonna get some bleed proof white because that's what I always use. Bleed proof white, tiny brush. Straight up and down, dots. Straight up and down, dots. There we go. And this is just a perfect little card for you to send out. If you want to darken up things, you can, but I'm pretty happy with the way he looks right now. You can sign it. I always use a pen and I always incorporate it in. So let's put it in on top of the hat this time. And there you go. We're ending off Witch Week with this super cute little pumpkin. I hope you guys had fun. It's a very quick, easy painting. And in 2 weeks, we will be back. And the theme for 2 weeks from now is sweater weather. And I have a couple really cute paintings planned. If you crochet, next week we are doing Ralphie in the bunny suit from A Christmas Story. One of my favorite patterns, and it's really cute. And it only uses like 3 colors of yarn, and you get to do a little bit of wire work and make glasses. So it's a super fun little project. So crochet next week, Ralphie in the bunny suit. 2 weeks painting, and the theme for that week is going to be sweater weather. Hope you guys had a good time. Thanks. Bye.